Okay, so today I've got a problem with a track 8345 RT is slipping on the one track. Got a lift mounted chisel plow, trying to figure out what the problem is. We'll see just now what it does and why it does it. I hope you can see it. It's maybe a little bit difficult to see, but one track, as soon as the tractor tries to steer to hold the line, the one track speeds up and the one track slows down, obviously to steer because it's a tractor. There you can see it now. The track on the right hand slipping and the track on the left hand is just keeping up. So all the power is going into the one track, which then slips. This is because the implement should actually have been on a draft unit, on a draw unit, whereas it's now connected right straight to the 3-point hitch. It's a little too wide, so as soon as one side digs in a little, it will then throw the tractor off steer, which then tries to overcompensate, and that's where the one track slip problem comes from. Have a look at that. That's from the back. There you can see in front, left hand track is slipping way off, and the tractor is going to kick out any minute now because it's not holding the line. So the remedy for that is to either get a draft unit or draw unit. So it's a drawbar dolly that hooks onto the implement with a 3-point. See that? So either have it drawn by a drawbar and a dolly with a 3-point, or take off some tine so the implement is not as wide. See how it's trying to compensate there. On the line, now it's on the other line, so it wants to come to the right hand. The right hand track slows down, left hand track overspeeds, starts slipping, and the GPS just kicked out. As soon as the GPS kicks out, both tracks will do what they have to. You will never have a straight line though, but the grip is now unison. Go, taking off 2 tines on each end, so back to a 9 tine. And we're okay now. Tracks are running smooth. Tractor is actually able to keep up with the steering and stay in a straight line as well. And no slip, no excessive slip on one track. There you go. Okay, so that is one remedy. Another remedy is to have a drawbar, a draw hitch with a dolly at the back. It puts the implement about 3 meters, 2.5 to 3 meters back from the tractor, and the sideways motion of the implement won't affect the tractor as much. That will basically give the tractor freedom of movement to maintain traction. So this is just a quick remedy. The best remedy will be to actually have this implement drawn rather than fixed to the 3-point hitch, slippage. You don't have enough freedom of movement on the tractor itself. The drawbar setup will then give it the freedom of movement required to do smooth steering and maintain a line. To sum up the problem, I'll be using a model tractor and a model wheel tractor to try and explain or illustrate what's happening. Okay, to start off the explanation, we'll use the wheel tractor. Wheel tractor makes its directional corrections by moving the front. So let's see how that goes. Take a right turn, and there we go. The transition, the directional transition, is a smooth movement. So let's take the track tractor now. A track tractor has got a pivot point in the middle here. It's more or less in the middle of the tracks, maybe a little bit more to the rear, but it's more or less in the middle. So what happens with a track tractor is it wants to pivot around that pivot and then go in the direction. pivot again and go in the new direction, pivot again, go in the new direction. So the directional transition is not smooth. It happens, as you can see there, in steps. In this little moment here, the left track is doing most of the work, and that's why you will start getting slippage on that track. The problem with the implement that we're using is it's also very wide, so the correction wants to move the end very far before it can start going in the new direction, and correct and new direction and correct and new direction. So the width is also preventing it from doing the correction. Alright, so now let's go over to the drawn implement on the same line. We've extended the pivot point of the implement a bit further back. This will give the tractor freedom of movement on the drawbar, as you can see there. So what happens is it'll make the correction and draw, make a correction and draw, make a correction and draw, make the correction and draw. As you can see, with the drawbar implement extended to the back, you've got much smoother transition, which gives the tractor room to spread the power between the two tracks, and you won't have slippage on either one, or you'll have a lot less slippage on either one of the tracks. There is no sideways force. The tractor is not obligated to move the whole implement so it can correct. So the force on the rear of the tractor is much less, gives it freedom of movement, and your transitional line on the implement is much smoother. That basically sums it up. For some extra content, I've also got a very cool little Lincoln Ribbon 9 model here. There you go. I hope you find it helpful.